So jumping back into our growth mindset project, you are going to see this card at your table that has 8 different colors. You want to pick the color of the skin tone that you like the best, or maybe that's closest to your own skin tone. You're going to tell me that number and I will give you the paint in your tray along with some white paint. You are going to be mixing these together on this sheet of paper that I'm going to give you using all of our paint tools. We're going to want to fill in all of these spots: 2 ears, the face, and the neck. So what you want to do first is start with the white paint. You want to blend that around, covering the whole surface of your face. And one way that's going to be great to make it spread is just a quick dip in the water. You don't need to have too much water. It could rip a hole in your paper. So blending that around until it's covered most of the face. Then we can go back in with our skin tone. And you're going to see that it's going to lighten that color up a little bit, and that's totally fine. You can keep your brush strokes kind of loose, meaning that they don't all have to go in the same direction. You can have fun with that, making sure that you're just filling in the whole surface to cover that skin tone. So I'm going to do the ears and the neck next, starting with my white and then going back in with my skin tone color that I chose. And you can see how it just really does a nice job lightening it up a little bit with that white, but it also helps it blend so nicely. Rinse your brush off when you're done. You will need that for our next step. As always, to the drying rack we go, and turn your tray into me and I will try to save some paint and put it back in our bottle. Next up, using the same paintbrush that we just cleaned out, we are going to begin using our watercolor paints to fill in that page that we started last time. So remember, we were using oil pastels to create these really fun, colorful pages of just lines, shapes, designs, and now we're filling in on top with our watercolor. Remember, you can paint right on top of the oil pastel. It will not mess it up. It will not smudge and smear it around. So I'm going to choose my colors wisely. As you can see here, I chose to do mostly a warm color theme, and I'm even following along some of my lines to really make those pop out nicely. And once that is done, it's off to the drying rack. Once all of our pieces are dry, it is time to start doing some cutting and assembling. So I need to cut out all the parts of the head, starting with the neck, moving on to the head next. So I'm just following along with those lines that were there from before. If you have a hard time seeing your lines, just cut as close as you can. Take your best guess. Now I'm doing my ears. So I will have my 2 ears, my head, and my neck. So you can see how those fit together. Next, you're going to get these painted papers at your table. They're randomly selected. They're leftovers from previous projects that students have done. And we're going to cut a half circle that's going to be used as the shoulders. So you can see now how everything fits together, and it's time to glue it all down. Using a glue stick, we want to make sure we cover the entire back side of the piece and start sticking everything down onto our black background. I like to start with the neck and then go to the shirt piece, the little shoulders of our person, then moving on to the head. So again, I'm going to cover the entire back part, making sure you're going to the edges and in the center. Oh, don't overdo your glue stick though. You should not have big old crumbles of glue coming out. And then before it's too dry, you can always peel up and stick the ear underneath. So we can easily get those pieces all glued down and ready to go for the next step. So make sure you rub it really well, make sure everything's stuck nice and flat. Next, we're going to go ahead and create a nose. Using some of those painted papers from before, we're going to cut a triangle nose, glue that down with our glue stick. And then we're going to make some rosy cheeks. I like to find the sheet of paper that I like to use for both cheeks, fold in half, and cut the 2 circles at the same time. You can have your cheeks be any color, just like your nose. I'm going to use my glue stick to glue those down. Make sure they're stuck nice onto the page. They're not going to go anywhere. And then we're going to use a Sharpie marker to draw on our eyes. I have my closed eyes with some eyelashes as well as eyebrows. And then I'm going to give my person a nice little happy face. And why not? Let's do some cute freckles all the way across the nose and across the cheeks, just like I see a lot of you guys have in Florida. So I'm going to make sure that my face is ready to go. And next up, we're going to bring back our painted paper that we made, and we're going to start cutting out some organic and geometric shapes. There's no correct way to do this, just have fun. Make some wiggly wobbly shapes, maybe some circles, triangles, squares, up to you. Any scraps that you think you may have, hang on to them because we're going to be doing some trades with the class. So you can see as I'm starting to trade with others, I'm getting new pieces, as well as I could go back to using some of those extra painted papers that were left at my desk to make some really unique shapes with funky colors. Then the fun part, we get to assemble our growth mindset. Using our glue stick, we're going to start sticking down our pieces, sneaking out from the top of the head and up to the top of the paper. You can have fun with this. There is no wrong or right way to do this. I want to see what you come up with. How do you overlap your organic and geometric shapes? If you need to trim on them while you're making them, that's absolutely fine. However, you can make it best fit on your paper. And we're going to make this really cool growth mindset coming out of the top of our character characters' heads, just like we saw the artist Vanessa Brantley Newton do on her artworks. So once you have finished filling them all in, you will have a completed growth mindset project. Remember, save all of your scraps. These are not trash. These can always be used again for another project. And check it out. Isn't that cool? I cannot wait to see your growth mindset.